Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All what you need to know about the new digital and system of the SAT. All what you need to know or the information I got it in this video is from the sort of assessment released by the College Board. Educademy is my website and the SAT course that I'm going to start right now and the intro for the digital SAT. First, in the SAT or the new digital SAT, you have two sections, math and English. English is two levels. As we can see, two stages, adaptive test. I'm going to speak with you later about what is the meaning of adaptive test. We have reading, we have writing sections. In math, we have two sections, but it combines the questions, it's not separately. The first time or the first section in English is for 32 minutes, and the second section is also for 32 minutes. In English, we have two modules. First section is 35 minutes, and the second section is for 35 minutes. So once you are going to start your test, you will find two sections in English, first one, and then the second one. Then you are going to take a break, and then you are going to start the time for the math. Before, you were having also four sections, but there is a break after the first section because it will take about 1 hour, about 50 minutes. But now the whole test is about 2 hours. The whole test is about 2 hours. Total number of questions. In English, we have 54 questions, 27 and 27. And in math, we have 44 questions, 22 and 22. So approximately they are given about 1 minute and a half, 1 minute 25 to 35 seconds for each question you are going to solve. Again, each section in English for 27 questions and two sections there. And for English, for math, we have two sections and each section is with 22 questions. Total time for the English is 64 minutes and the total time for the math is 70 minutes. So it divided into 35 and 35. Mr. Hisham, what if I solve it and I finish early? For example, I finished the 22 questions of math in 20 minutes. You can leave. At this time, if it's the last exam, you can leave. If it's not the last section, if it's the first or the second section and you are sitting there, the first section in English, if you finish it early, you have the right to start the second section. And then after this one, you can take your break if the invigilator or the proctor allow you to go out. If it's not allow you to go out, you're going to stay in your place. How I get this information? I get this information because I am a SAT center supervisor. So I'm supervising the SAT test. So I know what I'm talking about. Question type. As question type, I'm a math teacher, so I'm going to give you more about the math, but at the English, you can see that all the questions in English is multiple choices. But in math, 75 of the questions are multiple choices, free, and 25% free responses, or what we were calling it grid questions. And again, in English, you have all the question multiple choices. But in math, 75% of the questions is going to be given to you. It's going to be multiple choices, but 25 of them is going to be free response. How I will be prepared with my laptop? I prefer if every one of you have his own laptop. You can use your iPad, but you are not allowed to use the pen for the iPad. So you can use iPad, you can use Samsung, or any kind of devices. The problem in the device is that you shouldn't have a firewall so you can connect to the school Wi-Fi because you don't have your own Wi-Fi. Some of the students ask, I will get my own Wi-Fi. No, the schools provide you with a network or a Wi-Fi. Just you have your laptop, you have your charger, and they provide you with cables for the electricity. So as you can see, here is pictures for kind of laptops that you can use, and also you have two system, Windows and the Mac OS. What is the program I'm going to use for the test? College Board released a program. This program is called Blue Book. You are going to download it. You are going to install it. It's for free. You have a practice test on it. And in the exam day, the Blue Book, the proctor at the board will give you a code. This code you add it to this code given to you on the exam day. You are going to add it to this Blue Book that you already installed, and it will open for you the test. And there is no other program can work at that time. And while you are working on the Blue Book in your laptop, you are not allowed to go through it and turn it off and go back to it. What is the benefits of using this? In the Blue Book, while you are practicing, you have a testing timer. When you are going to finish, how many minutes left, how many questions left. What else? I have a calculator, and I'm going to speak with you about calculator more. You have two kinds of calculator. You have Desmos one, which is built into the program, and I'm going to show you how to work with this in the questions. And you can bring your own calculator, as you can see on the screen. And of course, you can now use your graphing calculator if you are aware of how to use it. So regarding calculator, the whole section of math, you can use calculator. You can use your own calculator, the one that you are used to in your hand, or you can use the Desmos one, the one that built it into the program. What else is the benefits of the Blue Book? You have a reference sheet at any time. You can press a button for the reference sheet, just press. It will be open for you. You have this rule at the front of you every time in the math questions. During the course, we are going to know how to go through these rules and what in it and what is not in it. Finally, annotations, or you can write and highlight notes. You can highlight into the exam, for example, English, and you can write down small notes by using your keyboard. You are not allowed to use a pen. What is changing? What is the change in the new digital SAT? In reading and writing, as we can see on the screen, here is the digital assessment, have a single reading and writing before it would have more than one section. Digital SAT reading and writing section will feature many shorter passages. Before, in the paper and pencil, the students were having a big paper with a lot of words in it, but now it's too short, so they can answer in a short time. Finally, you have a single questions associated with each passage, instead of having several questions associated with it. As I told you before, I'm a math teacher, so regarding the English, this is all what I can write for you. But later, inshallah, bismillah, you can go through it. What changed in math? Calculator is all allowed. Graphing calculator is allowed, the one without the storage. And the average length of the questions is too short right now. Data analysis questions is too short. They cancel the complex numbers. There was a lesson for complex number. They cancel it. Most of the question doesn't have a big word problem, a short word problem, and it's adaptive. And I'm going to speak with you later about what it is. Adaptive. When one of the students enter the test, and this is the important part, every student in the digital new test exam have a different test. It's not the same. Before, they were having 4 versions, and all the students is spreading around with these versions. But for the new digital SAT, everyone have his own test. I will do the first module. It will give me easy and average questions. And according to my response to this module, the second one will be adaptive to it. For example, if one of the students solved the 22 questions in the first section or the first module in math, very good. Perfect. he will give you a difficult question in the second. And it doesn't depend on the number of the questions. Doesn't depend on the number of the questions. I should solve the 22, yes. But type of the questions in the second module, it may give you 5 questions with difficult average. So when you answer these questions, you will get a higher mark. So I may have 2 students. One of them solved 20 questions out of 22, but it gives him, or the test gives him, easy questions. But I have another one who solved 18 questions out of 22 right, and he will get a higher score. Again, if you went to the exam and the first module for you was easy and the second module was easy, it means that your answers for the first part wasn't good, because it gives you easy questions. But if you did the first module and the second module come above average or a little bit difficult, you should make sure that you did well in the first one. That's why it's increased for you the difficulty. Number of the question now is decreased. I have 22 questions in 35 minutes. It means that it's not going to cover all the questions. They can mix right now. For example, it gives you a question for function with graphing the straight line. It gives you a question for probability with simplifying the fraction. And this is what you are going to realize and recognize during my course, inshallah. So adaptive part, your exam is not the same as your friend. Number of marks in your exam in module 2, not the same as your friend. What about the skills? What is the skills I'm going to expect it to see in the English and math? As you can see at the front of you, in English, you have word, text, purpose, cross. This is represent 35%. You will expect it to have 13 to 15 questions in this area. Central ideas, common evidence, and this is represent 26%, 12 to 14 questions. Standard English conversation, this is represent 26%, and finally expression of ideas, this represent 20%. If you count them all, it will give you the 100% in the English test. What about the math? Oh my God, I'm surprised. You have 4 main courses in math. You have algebra, you have functions, which is advanced math, you have problem solving in data analysis and probability, and you have new topics, which we call it geometry and trigonometry. Algebra should be aware about linear equation, 1 variable, linear equation, 2 variables, how to solve the 2 equations, one of them in the first degree and the second degree, how to solve and represent linear inequality. In math, you have, as you can see, in advanced math, mainly the function, nonlinear function, quadratic functions, how to represent the function, function notation, rates, ratio, I don't want to forget anything, nonlinear equations, and 1 variable of data. Problem solving, as you can see, you have the scatter plot, you have the data central tendency, mean, median, mode, and range. You have standard deviation, you have error, you have probability. Finally, the geometry, and as you can see to the right, the percent of each one. So mainly the first 2 chapters or 2 topics is taking about what 70% of your test. 70% of the question in the test come from algebra and functions. Problem solving is 15%, and finally trigonometry and geometry. Geometry, you need to know about the angles, you need to know about the triangles, equation of the circle, you need to know how to find the sine, cosine, and tan. You need to know how to solve the first type of identity, sine, tan is equal sine over cosine, and I'm going to go through it, inshallah, during my course. Score. What is the score? If you went to the test and you didn't solve any right questions, you are going to take 400. 200 in math, 200 in English. But the score is 800 in math and 800 in English. If we take away 200, the one that is going to be given to you because you dressed and you went to the test, it's about 600. So 600, if you divide it about the number of the question, we're expected about 10 to 20 marks in each question you are going to solve. You can match For example, if you did well in math in one of the exams and you did well in English in another exam, you can match them, match the marks from one test to another day of test. And don't forget that the test is given to you 6 times now per year. Start from August, October, November, December, March. Some areas in US have the May and then the June. So the people outside have only now, for right now, they have March and they have June, but I think last year we will have May, alhamdulillah. So about 6 trial per year. We add the 800 for English writing. We add the 800. This gave you total of 1,600. So mainly, let's wrapping up what we said. The difference between the paper and the digital, taken on a paper, taken on your laptop using the Blue Book app, take 3 hours. The new one is taking about 2 hours. Scores available in 2 weeks. Now the scores available within days. Maximally, they are saying that from 1 week to 10 days maximum. Calculator not allowed in one section, but allowed in one section in paper. But now calculator is allowed, and it's have a very good features, fantastic features like the Dismus one, and you can use the graphing. Score report connect students with scholarship. Score report also connect students. I think this is the same. Does it change for 2 years? And multiple student test on the same. No unique test for each student. This all data, I got it to you from the suite of assessment released by the College Board. I wish you find it well and wealthy. بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.